So you might be asking, did this dude really just use his finger to spread Bondo? What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to pick up where we did last week on the filler panel for the firewall on the 1978 Camaro. And for those of you who do not know, we just put this new filler panel in, and what we have to do is actually start some body work on it. And I've actually already started a little bit. I noticed that this lip right here was hanging down just a little bit too far, so I went ahead and ground that back down to where there's a nice little chamfer on it. That way when we go to put a little bit of icing on there, it'll look seamless. And then I went ahead and ground down all the welds from the inside around the trans tunnel, and gave it a coat of etching primer. That way it's ready for seam sealer whenever that dries. So we'll go ahead and seam seal that and then start working on the outside of the firewall to get all the body work started. All right, so gave the panel a scuff where we're gonna do, and I'm actually gonna start around these around the perimeter of the panel. That way we can get the kind of the messy stuff out of the way. I still gotta take some of this body sealer off the bottom of that, so we can't touch that yet. This is good to go. Everywhere else is pretty much good to go. I'm waiting on this just to dry a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and sand that down. All right, we're all mixed up. So go ahead and start laying it in. So you might be asking, did this dude really just use his finger to spread Bondo? Yes I did, and I'll tell you why. I did it with my finger to start with, just so I made sure I got plenty of the icing onto the existing sheet metal and on the new sheet metal. Either an air pocket where I was missing some icing in between the two pieces, and I go to sand or I go to paint and it's still there. Over time that body filler could shrink or it could crack, and then now I'm left with a hole, and potentially water could get in there and rust and corrode all the work that we just did. So that's why I use my finger. But now what I can do is use my smaller putty knife, or just call it a blade, and actually go ahead, after I sand this down, I'll go ahead and actually use this. That way I know there's plenty of it behind there, and now I can start making it toward the final process and making it nice and smooth. Alright guys, picking up where we left off the other day. I kept sanding, kept applying a little bit more of icing here and there. I think we're up to the final coat up on the corners, or not the corners, but around the perimeter, I should say. Not sure about right here. Underneath this good. That piece should be good. And I actually had to go ahead and strip all this back down. That way I could put some Bondo on here, because I didn't realize that there's actually a little curvature right here. So had to do a little heavier repair, but probably hard to see, but it should come out nice and flat. But we'll see So what we'll do is sand all this down. Well, that's still drying, but we'll sand the rest of it down. And I know you guys have seen me sand stuff for like days now, so went ahead and actually added to the arsenal. I got some paint cups, I got some strainers, just some generic gloves, and got a new gun, regulator, and air oil separator. So you guys have seen us use this stuff right here, and this is just a Rust-Oleum primer, sandable primer. We used it on the dash, we used it on the trunk, and really the only reason why we use that stuff is just to put a coating on top of the hard work that we already accomplished. So I didn't want anything to start rusting again, or any water or moisture to get behind the body filler and then it start peeling off. So all that is kind of like a barrier for right now. So when we go to actually paint the car or do the bed lining, whatever the case may be, all we're going to do is give it a really good sand, try to get as much of this as off as possible, and actually use a proper 2K primer or slick sand. There's a couple names, a couple different types, so we'll have to look and do that. So by no means I would say this is a professional setup, but for an at-home setup, I would say it's definitely a must. Strainers for sure, definitely get some cups, ones that have little ratios and stuff on the side of it. That comes in handy. Gloves to keep it clean so you're not spreading finger or Bondo with your finger like I did, made a huge mess. But yeah, just a cheapy gun, 2.0 nozzle, gravity fed, comes with a regulator, got a separate air oil separator. My compressor actually has one, but I'm actually using it for a tool oiling system. So this is for the oil, and this is obviously the water separator, but just got a secondary one just for good measure, because nothing's more annoying than when you go to spray something and it's full of water or oil. You get fish eyes, you gotta take it all off and redo it and prep it, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so it's not fun. So altogether it costs about $100 for the cups, the strainers, the gloves, the gun, and the air oil separator. Oh, and I got this little mount for it, just so when we do fill this up, we don't have anywhere to put it. They make some that go inside a vise, but I don't really like those, so we'll just let that guy hang out for there, and then kind of stow it away. Just keep it out of the way, out of sight. Don't really need it all that often, and if I need to, I'll go ahead and move it. Not a big deal. So pretty exciting for that. That way we can actually get some proper coatings on this thing and don't have to keep referring back to the spray can stuff. So keep sanding on this. I'm not going to show you guys any of that anymore. I think you're tired of it. I know I am. But still got this hole to fill, probably that hole. Gonna keep the wiper motor. You know, there's probably some other holes we're gonna have to fill, so I gotta kind of figure into this stuff and figure out what holes we need and what holes we do not need. So currently my brother is on his way home from Texas, so next week we should have tons of stuff going on. Taking subframe off, rear end out, finishing all the prep work, maybe even primering some stuff, doing the underside, doing the floorboards, doing everything. We're gonna try to get as much done as we can possible by the time we have it. That way we're just that much closer to the final product of this car. I'm gonna keep sanding away on this, you guys. Thanks for watching like always. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far, I don't know why you wouldn't, but hey, to each their own. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.